Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to whoever is watching from wherever. So, today we are supposed to talk about something which has been doing its rounds in the academic industry for quite some time, and it is innovative pedagogy. Now, you can definitely check what innovative pedagogy is through AI because Google is too cliche now, or I can just read out what the definition of it is. So it is a teaching approach that embraces creativity, technology, and fosters higher order thinking skills, while critical thinking, communication, and collaboration are a key part. Still not clear what it is? Well, to be frank, even I am not. But what I understand from innovative pedagogy is to make learning interesting. Now, you might ask why. Because since forever we have been doing courses in a certain way and we have seen presentations, we have also come across certain videos, hands-on experiences, etc. So why now? What different can we really do? Because personally, I can say that I really wouldn't like someone with this expression in the classes, or someone who's just completely not aware of what is happening around because they have more important things to do. I personally will explain this with the basis of one subject that I have been taking for quite some time now, at least for 3, 4 semesters, and that is building materials and construction. So, what I'm going to share with you is absolutely my personal experience or something that I have done in the classes and kind of got positive response from the students. So, here is one of the slides that I had shown in one of the first classes that we had, and it was on mud. Mud as a material. So when we see at this, this is a GIF that people are so used to now, GIFs and memes. But at the same time, this actually talks a little about how clay is moldable. Like it can be liquid, it can be plastic or moldable, or it can be solid as well, with the necessary information that is. Similarly, if this is not a thing that intrigues them or grabs their attention, one can also try ASMR or something similar to. So, in times when people are very like not interested and there is certain introduction of such sounds, I think that is good enough to grab their attention. And then there can be questions of what exactly did you hear? It can be metal, it can be shattering glass, or it can be a knocking on wood. Now, if these are done, then there can be certain concepts or certain advanced things that can also be done through similar things to keep them hooked on. Because not just grabbing attention, keeping them hooked throughout the lecture, especially theory classes, is very important. And I think because in the past couple of decades, the attention span has significantly reduced. Actually, a study says that it came down from about 2.5 minutes to just about 45 seconds, which kind of relates to, the shorts and reels that people are so engrossed in watching, be it on YouTube, be it on Instagram. So it's also kind of using that same thing that they'd want to scroll through and be engrossed in the thing at the same time learning certain things. Like here you see there's this single swing and double swing door, which has been represented not in a conventional way, but at the same time that could bring a smile on their face as well. And maybe this would help them retain it better. And then coming to some assignments, the assignments which I gave, I tried to be a little innovative with that too. And this is something that they came up with. One of the students came up with different tests of mud, like unintended. And this is what they had named a maze of walls. though it doesn't really look like a mail, but considering they were in first semester, I gave it to them. And this was their lit corner window. Similarly, swinging around and sliding through the presentation is what they had named this. So they also create like small videos and GIFs because they have been told that you can choose your mode of presentation that you want to. Some other students' work in which they had actually come up with comic strips explaining the process of making cement and concrete. So some did hand sketches, some came up with digital presentations, some also came up with like storybooks with which they made videos, but due to a constraint in time, I just created a GIF out of it just for the sake of portrayal. Similarly, I talked about grabbing attention and keeping them hooked. Another thing to do is to use what we think is kind of a weakness into our strengths. For example, there are certain platforms, like this platform is called Kahoot, where kind of different quizzes and all can be changed into games where they use their own mobile phones to do. Like here you can see that's the number of players. I don't think it's visible. Yeah, so this shows the number of people who had answered. This is the timer, and this is what it would look like on their phones. So even though they are on phones, I would precisely know that what they are doing or what are they looking at, because it's a timer based thing, it's a competitive thing. It keeps them uh, in the moment. And another interesting thing, this particular platform also has shapes other than colors, so that even people with not so proper color visuals can have the same answers. Similarly, there are platforms which show scoreboards, then games like they have to keep answering, and correct answers would give them points and bonuses. So they can actually run away from the monster. And because it's like a class full of people playing, it's also competitive. At the same time, it's also giving them the information that they need for the lectures. This can also be passed down as assignments in which they can take their own time to get through all this. There are other variations as well. And this is somewhere I really like, because ASEG also has gamification of, studies or lectures. And I try to use a little bit of that as well. And then students work. So in one of the courses, they were asked to make games. They can be digital, they can be physical, or it can be digital, a combination of digital and physical. And these are some of the things they came up with. I agree that some of them did not complete it in the correct sense, but at least they tried, and I'll give that to them. So this was a material Jenga. So they made different blocks of the same size, but with different materials. And then they also came up with a game called What's in the Box. There's a small clip which I'd like to show, which they themselves had recorded.
Tell one property. Sir, eco-friendly, sir. Lightweight. Eco-friendly. Low compressive strength. Water absorption.
It looks
Fire
like
resistance.
It looks like seems like a wet paper.
Paper. Paper bricks, sir.
Sir, give it me.
It's in process of.
Okay.
You're also not able to give me redo.
So these are in some of the ways, and there were some other games also they came up with, which was interesting. And I think because we are moving towards a time where gamification is being applied in all different, like even in schools, at school level, at higher education level as well, this can be as part of their assignment as well, because they will create a repository for their future and which can be added to. So now coming to the reality versus expectations. So I'll be very honest that yeah, we do understand that we have things like CLOs, PLOs, like course learning outcomes, program learning outcomes, Bloom's taxonomy level that we talk about when talking about pedagogy. But when I go to class, I think my main aim is to let students understand, learn, and retain whatever is being delivered to them. So I really expected that with these things, everyone will pass through flying colors because people were attentive, so called. But the reality is different, that um, some of them did not really pass in conventional terms. Well, that is also debatable how we assess them, but then that's for some other day. Then the assignments would be so interesting that all submissions will come on time. That is also something that did not happen. I mean, I'm not saying that it did not happen at all, but of course, every person is different, and not every person would be interested in all sorts of things. And attendance, again, some people may debate, is that really important, or is the learning outcome important? But given where I currently am associated with, attendance is a thing. And well, can't deny, bunking still might be more lucrative than attending classes. So after getting through these realities over a period of time, these are some of my takeaways that I have had. How I presented made an impression on the students, as similar ways or ideas were evident in their presentations. Every individual is different, or so is every student. The means that work for most might not work for all, and some indeed need individual attention. Delivery and verbal communication is very important, no matter how the other thing goes. Well, yes, delivery and verbal communication is very, very important, be it online, be it offline. I mean, in online, where you cannot see the faces of people, it is a little difficult, but at least offline, this is very important, because just now, the three lines that I just read out might not have been really interesting. And in most cases, if even if there are interesting presentations and the delivery technique is not right, I think it not just students, even I would lose interest. So I think being in the right mode to deliver, to connect with the people at a human level, and if possible, to individually understand what a student wants is very important. So we have to graduate from like something like DD News to Arnab Goswami, because maybe, just maybe, students want. And these are some of the sources that I used for this one, as well as some which I regularly use for different lectures. Thank you.